Everyone, Krydax here. Welcome back to our Pyanodons playthrough. In this episode, we are finally going to do some green science researches, and I've been working on just kind of collecting a few more of the resources we need to craft it. I also discovered something really strange. You can put an AUG in one of these buildings, in the miner for biosamples, and given they add 670%, that's a pretty crazy boost. So that feels like a bug to me. I'd assume that's not intentional, so I won't use it. But now I'm curious, can I put AUGs in anything? Apparently, I can put them in research labs. That doesn't really make sense either. Okay, so here it won't go in these buildings, but interesting. Huh. I wonder why it can go in research buildings. Or miners. Because, I mean, gosh, 670%, you know, I can just put one in here and now it mines 7 times as fast. That's kind of insane. I'll have to see. I'll maybe go on the Discord and see if that's intended, because that feels a little bit like cheating, but maybe it's not. Maybe you're supposed to put AUGs in miners, and that's kind of how the game's played. I don't know. Anyway, let's go grab all the biosamples we have, and then check out Green Science. As you can see, I also added a second one here, just to use up all the bio containers that we're making. It seems like titanium is currently my sticking point, so I might have to copy-paste my little acetylene setup. But I'd prefer to have the better version of the acetylene setup before I copy it. So we've got plenty of these laboratory instruments. Those are a 3-to-1 or 1-to-3 ratio, so that means we have enough for like 400 green science already in here. And the real shortage is these biosamples, because I need 12 biosamples to make 4 biological samples. Wow, that's confusing that those two things exist in the same game. Sorry, I gotta drink my coffee here. Biological samples and biosamples. So anyway, we need 3 per biological sample, and then we need 1-to-1 for the poor alien samples, and then 4 to 6. So 12 biosamples gets me 6 logistic science packs. So we need 2 for each science. So that's pretty crazy. But we have a little over 200 logistic science packs. So I'm trying to think if I should start. I mean, that only takes 45. And doesn't really unlock anything that I plan on doing immediately. I will need lubricant. And then that's only 50 green science. And what do we unlock with this? We can turn coal directly into syngas and then vent it, which might be helpful. Let's see. Bunch of various liquid recipes. All the stuff we need for niobium. Quenching towers. Those are used for, what's it called? The next level of coal creation. And then coal water slurry, which is what we'll probably make our next power plant out of, because tailings are very prevalent, especially once you start establishing more, what's it called? More of the second tier of ore processing. And then we can also turn tar into saline water and tailings. Random more recipes for plastic, acid gas. Oh, this one's actually a big deal. Sodium hydroxide from salt and slaked lime. So we can finally use all that slaked lime we've been accumulating. This one's a big deal, getting more syngas by adding in oxygen. And then it's actually doubly good because then we can use hydrogen to make even more fuel. So the heat exchanger that we can't use until we get red circuits. Better rubber recipe. Okay. So that's all good. I'm just wondering, like, how quickly can I get... So that's only 40, that's only 45. So I might actually get some of these processing recipes first, just because... Because the robots are just so expensive at 750. Let's see. What should come first? So I've already started making some belts as well, which I should probably put a nix on that because I don't want to use all my rubber because I need some rubber for the green science. Because the Pynobots, what are they actually called? Need 3 belts each, which is kind of a lot. And then they need 2 chromium. Oh, and we need a construction bot, which is also expensive. And let's see, 300 lubricant. It's kind of intense. Which I'll be making probably just from aromatics, which comes from creosote, which comes from tar. So we're going to need a ton of tar for each cargo bot. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty expensive. Oh, and we need 3 belts there too. So that's 6 belts per bot, which is 12 rubber. And we're currently making rubber at like half per second. So these are definitely in 20 steel. Oh my goodness. So we're not going to have a ton. I think I mentioned to you guys that I boosted their cargo capacity a little bit though. So it's at 6, which feels a little bit, again, like I'm fine with quality of life stuff. So let's just go for it. We'll do this first and then we can work on the rest of the base so we can start slowly crafting logistics bots. So what I'll do is fix this here. Let's see, this is probably not the best way to do this. I honestly don't think we're going to use much faster than that. Okay, and we'll put all our green science in here. And yeah, we can just get silly fast research by throwing those in there. I think I'm not going to do that for now, even though it's kind of hilarious. Okay, so we've got logistics robots going. I think at this point, because we're so close to logistics robots, I'm not going to worry about belting. Yeah, this bus kind of was pointless. There might be a few things that I build near the bus, but man, I feel so organized with all of this, and now it feels so wasted because I can just use logistics bots to ferry things around. Though I may still use, I don't know. I may still have a purpose for it, but it just feels like such a waste because every time I unstack things, I don't know. I like Deadlock stacking, but I really wish you could, and I don't even know if it's possible, but the problem is every stacking belt box essentially wastes 2 stacks of the resource because it has a full stack of 500 ish, tin on the front end and a full stack on the back end. And so every time you have a stacking box, you're wasting 2 stacks. And so I'm not even sure how badly I want to use stacking in general, since I'm not going to be using belts anyway. It does say, so there's this kind of interesting thing where you use a lot less of the Pynobots, right? So if I stack something and then have Pynobots ferried around, I need an 1/8 as many bots because I have the stacking rate to be, you know, stacks of 8. But then I need to have the stacking belt boxes on both ends. We need to stack the item up first, which wastes a bunch of it, and then we need to unstack the item, which wastes a bunch of it. So I think I will only be stacking high volume resources, like ones that I use huge amounts of, and having 2 stacks of it gone is basically nothing. For example, ash and coke, and maybe like iron. Stuff like that, I'm fine stacking because losing a few stacks of it here and there's not a big deal. Sand, gravel, stone, totally fine with stacking all of that. You know, even maybe stacking ore so that it can get transported to the place where it gets processed. Honestly, actually stacking all my plates will eventually be fine. It's just right now we're really short on a few of them. But, you know, like stacking raw coal, for example, that's all fine. It's just the things that we don't have very much of that stacking is really expensive. Like right now, lead, I probably only have a few thousand lead in existence. And so stacking that is wasting a lot. Okay, we actually are beginning to run out of raw coal here. So we need to add a few more. Let's see. We'll output priority right on that, and then join this back in. Input priority left. And I think I'll leave that the way it is, but then I'll have another belt joining this one. Although once we get these better coal recipes, we're gonna have more coal than we know what to do with, because we have all of this stored up crushed coal. And that's another one I might stack, is crushed coal. To save, or I might actually just manually grab all the crushed coal, do a few trips of that. Okay, let's check out our green science here. We do need some more titanium, but we've got a few more biosamples to grab and ferry over. I'm just going to double speed here. And we'll drop. Where am I putting this? Oh yeah, in here. And we need some more incubated petri dishes. And I'll just add in some more stuff here. Optical sets, engines. What else do we need? Rubber, small parts. Throw those in there. And then circuit boards, which unfortunately I have not automated yet, so we'll just have to handcraft a bunch of those. And then I need to grab some more titanium. So we really are low on titanium here. But we'll make do. Titanium, and then I need some more lead. So yeah, I mean, you can see that the lead only comes out to here because I've been using so much of it for biosamples. Those things are expensive. And then we need some more, oh yeah, circuit boards. We'll just throw in 100, which will make 400 laboratory instruments, which would make 1,200. Yeah, that'll last me a while. Okay, and then we need more incubated petri dishes, which I think I will, because I don't have enough of those for red science and green science, I'm just going to go ahead and automate those right here. So that can be one of the main things we do this episode. We are slowly getting green science, but we need a little bit more help. Because I'm not getting enough of these right now. But we can drop off a few more. I can't remember the ratio on these, but I think you need one of these per green science, if I remember correctly. 2 makes 4, 4 makes 4, 4 makes 6. So 2 makes... Oh, okay, no, you only need 1 petri dish per 3 science. So we actually created that line somewhere in here. There it is. And pen. Okay, so we need to get this all figured out. Now, we need a little bit of carbon dioxide from compost, or I mean biomass. So I might just put this here. Seems like a decent spot. It's such a small amount of biomass that I might have logistics bots bring it in. And just hand feed it a few thousand to start. Because then I won't need to recycle the seaweed. And then I won't need as much in the first place. So we'll only need 3 seaweed crops. Also, let me remind myself, is there a better way to make seaweed? Water and carbon dioxide speeds things up. Saline water would speed things up even more, but we can't easily make that yet. Six per 25, or if we add in limestone, we get 8 per 40. That's actually slower. And we get some other recipes with higher tiers of research, which I can't do. So, alright, well, we'll stick with the water and carbon dioxide method. Need more seaweed crop facilities, which needs some limestone. Where do I have limestone? Well, I know where I have some. Right here. Okay, so I need 3 of those, some high pressure furnaces, which I already have. Glassworks. Oh, right. We need petri dishes. So I'll just grab 500 from here, and that will last me a while. And then everything else... Oh, we need steam. Huh. You know, I even have that bust here. I think this feels like a time where we can just bring the steam up. No, I don't like pipes going everywhere. We'll just make the steam on site with a little bit of coke. Okay, so I'll need a pump jack and a boiler. Two, three, four. Let me guess, I don't have stone. Yep. So excited to have logistics bots delivering everything to me. I don't have stone right there. We'll grab it from our excess area. Make another one. We'll keep 1,000. While we're here, we'll grab some more copper. You know what would be cool, actually? I wonder... I actually kind of wish it was like vehicles, where you clicked enter to walk inside. Or maybe there could be a toggle setting. Because I kind of like... or I kind of don't like accidentally walking into those buildings. Okay. So you actually want to make these top left, like so. Only need 3. So I can probably make the carbon dioxide in this building. You know the buildings are large when the pipes don't even fully reach across. Let's see, that's not going to work because of this. So this needs to be offset by 1. And then this guy can come up and attach. It's kind of ugly, but it works. And then we need a high pressure furnace, maybe over here. Making carbon dioxide. Now we'll just feed you manually with some biomass, which I'll grab in a second. And then we need a pump jack making water. Leave some space there for... Actually, this should probably be down on the bottom. Pick that up. We need to grab a bunch of seaweed, of course, because we need the modules. But then the seaweed combines with steam, so I can actually make that in here as well. In 2 high-pressure furnaces. So I can do that maybe right here. Move these over by 1, actually. And we can insert seaweed. And we can make our agar. Agar the horrible. That's what I think of every time I hear that. Okay, that's pointless. Underground. I never use undergrounds if they're only going to be 2 spaces because of squeak through. In the vanilla game, you kind of need to do that just so you have a place to walk past, but with squeak through, that's not really necessary. Okay, so I got that. And then optical sets will be necessary. And then okay, so we'll just have this come on out of the building. Out the bottom. And I think that does it. We just need biomass to start and some seaweed to prime the pump. Which, I have seaweed. Sweet. Okay, are any of these backed up? Surprisingly, not really. Maybe this one's backed up? Using most of it for all of this craziness. 23 is not enough, actually. I need more. We need more power. Speaking of power, actually, we will need more at some point. There's 100. That should do it. I think it's only 10 per building. And then I need 3 of those microorganism mines. And a few more assembling machines. Yeah, and we don't get these blue assembling machines for a very long time. So we'll just be using these automated factories for anything that needs liquid. It's a little frustrating just because those... I don't know, I feel like these should be a little smaller. Given the base building is only 3x3, this one is 7x7. That's more than 4 times the area. Feels a little unfair to me, but you know, it's how Pyanodons goes. But it just means that these are faster in terms of the area used. So I like to use these wherever I can. So I kind of, if these were maybe 5x5 instead, I would probably just use these only. So I don't know. I feel like maybe if they were a little smaller, the game would be encouraging you to actually use the new building. But, okay, so we need We'll take all the biomass we can hold because it's free. Just takes a little bit of power. Which I guess power technically isn't free, but it's close. Where am I building? Right here. So one of those busy work things I'm going to have to do, which I kind of meant to do this first. We'll put these on pause. We want the external overlay and the factory preview. So one of the busy work items I'm going to have to do is fill... Oh yeah, we need coke for this one. I don't have very much fuel right now. Okay, those are all running. Almost, there we go. I'll have to... essentially, once we finish the research, it puts a little chest right here, and if you put an item in it, then it shows up in alt mode. As like, kind of like, you know, this right here, the icon shows up on the building. And that's really handy to stay organized, because otherwise you just forget what you're building. Okay, and then we'll go in this building like so. That's fine. I generally don't like blocking the inputs and outputs, but it doesn't matter in this case. This is pretty simple. We'll probably actually have the optical... What am I even doing? Because I'm going to use logistics bots. That's the other big downside. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the other big downside to using Factorissimo is that logistics bots can't deliver directly to chests that directly insert to buildings. So you have to use, you know, and when you're combining that with stacking and unstacking, the amount of items you're wasting sitting in belts and in chests and all that, it just becomes very large. We'll leave room for expansion on that. And then we'll go over. Actually, what am I doing? Let's do it this way. And we'll just go do the classic loop around, then put these right here. Just need some undergrounds. And then we will output those. Into a chest. Bam. Okay, that should help a little bit. So we are feeding quite a few things into it, though, that we'll need to have logistics bots move around. Biomass, coke. Coke will be really nice to transport stacked, because a stack of coke has extra fuel value. It actually counts as 8 coke, so it's essentially a 40 megajoule item. And then the cargo Pynobots will be able to carry 6 of those, so they can carry around 240 megajoules at a time. So that'll be pretty easy to transport. Let's see. So these, I think we can actually just feed directly in. I'm going to keep this as a chest because that's going to become a passive provider chest at some point. Oh, I run out of inserters and small parts. And biosamples. Okay. We need lots more things. First, let's grab some small parts. And some cables. Always need more cables. And then we'll see how many biosamples we have. Only 45 more. We're out of titanium yet again. We'll give it all the titanium I have. And then we'll add in some more green science. This is so exciting, though, seeing those little logistic science packs. I'm kind of surprised how quickly we got to it. I thought it was going to take more on the order of 50 60 hours. Granted, we haven't automated everything very nicely, and our base is a complete mess, but we do have green science. And if you guys have watched any of my space exploration, you kind of know that's just how I play sometimes. Because I don't want to make these super massive, intricate builds when, once I get green science, I get a lot of new recipes for things. And then I'm just going to redo it. So, okay, so here we have the preview, which we want to turn on, which is nice. So when I mouse over a building, it pops up that little window. And then there's this little overlay controller now. So I can put acetylene, and they've improved this, it looks like. Oh, that's amazing. So you used to have to, what's it called? This used to be a chest that you would actually put items in. So you actually would have to physically grab an item and place it in, which was kind of bothersome, but now you can set it to be anything, which is really nice, because you couldn't even do liquids before, and now you can. So that will make my job a lot easier. So probably in between episodes, I'll go through to every one of my factory buildings and do this. And I should actually put slaked lime on here as well, because it does output both. Currently, it's also outputting crushed coal, but we'll deal with that later. So that'll be super handy to be able to know what our factories are doing. Like, for example, this one is hot air. And we can just do that, and it's done. I love it. You know, I might not even need the preview, although the preview is nice to see if buildings are working and stuff. The preview can get a little annoying when you're running around the base. They just, you know, like if you're looking right now, it just kind of pops up and disappears just as you randomly mouse over them. And that's, you know, not the worst thing in the world, but I'm still very interested on why these AUGs can be placed in certain buildings. So I'll have to find out about that. And let's resume our logistics research. Ooh, I can get more inventory. That's going to be nice. AUGs, stage 2. Looks like that just gets us some better recipes. That'll be super nice because it's 80% to get a caged AUG, so we get a lot more efficiency out of our cages. Anyway, I'm distracting myself. Logistics robots and logistics system. Okay. How close are we even? Probably not very close. We need a lot more titanium. And I've pretty much grabbed everything I have. I guess there's a lot on this belt going to rubber. But if I take that, then there will be less building up on the other half, so it doesn't really matter. I don't even know if I'm oh, I forgot to hook up that building. So it looks like we've actually started storing up some acetylene. Which means, because I removed some of the lead miners. So that means I can handle a few more miners here. Logistics system is being researched. Okay, it looks like I'm now using it up. Well, 4.4, 4.6, 4.4. It's hard to tell. But each one of these, well, titanium does not use anywhere near as much acetylene as lead. Lead is the main offender, with 10 each. These only use 4 each, which means each one of these buildings is only 2 per second. So that's 16 per second, plus the 2 lead miners. That's a total of 21 per second. These can produce 25 per second, though I doubt they are because we don't have enough coke, which will be remedied soon. But I'll also need to fix all this coke oven gas stuff. Because I realized these, if these get full, like if I'm not using enough hot air, which was happening a second ago, but I guess I'm using more now, then these get backed up, and then my acetylene production actually stops. So that's an issue. But now we're getting a little bit more ore. So that'll pick up the pace on titanium production. We're going to speed up to 4 because this episode I think has gotten a little boring. Maybe that's just me, but you know, this is a pretty rewarding setup that I've got in here. It's packed in pretty tight. In fact, it's kind of to that point where I don't know if I could have fit one more building in. Like, it just barely fit. Let's see if our titanium production is ramping up. So it looks like it's been at 20, about 29, because that's mostly all that, but now it's at 50. Or, well, maybe not fully 50, but like 45 or 50. But I'm using up all the acetylene in the pipes, so then it'll slow down again. So this is a slow process, to be sure. These dumb cages, I wonder if... Let's see. That doesn't even use cages. But... And these two aren't using cages either. Well, we've got a lot of route cocoons. So then, really, the only place the cages are going is into these buildings to make bone meal. So... So where... Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So we're essentially prioritizing, yeah, the water barrels from the right, and then the cages will be on this belt already, but they'll come from that one first. Okay. So, I mean, there are a lot of extra cages in some of these buildings, but we are using them. And the bone meal... Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's something I need to change. I want the AUGs to only be on one side of the belt. What am I doing here? Something like this. So that they actually back up eventually, because I'm just wasting tons and tons and tons of these guys. That's a satisfying noise. Okay, so now they'll slowly start to back up, and eventually, over the course of 10,000 eons, we will have that completely backed up. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna grab whatever titanium I do have, and we'll go ahead and make some more biosamples. And now we finally run out of some other stuff. Glass, steel, and lead. Yeah, the biosamples are the real kicker. I wonder, mining productivity, where are you at? Oh. You know, this is the kind of thing that happens in Pyanodons. It's a red and green research, except you can't actually get it until you've researched something that requires blue science and pi science. That makes absolutely no sense to me. That almost just feels like a glitch. But maybe they don't want you getting mining productivity earlier, and that's on purpose. But if it's supposed to be like that, then why does it still only cost red and green science? These are the things I don't totally understand. But yeah, so we are going to get a bunch more green science there. I think I'll call it an episode here, and then we'll have this finished by the time the next episode starts. And oh, I guess one more thing we can do real quick before we end the episode is place some of these roboports around, because we actually unlocked those when we researched the construction bots. So I can place these kind of around the base. They, as you can see, have a very large area. I think it's twice as big as the vanilla ones. So thankfully we won't need millions of them. And then I can just place more in the high traffic areas. But we'll definitely want some that go all the way out to this area over here, because I'll have to pick up that ash. We can finally have some sort of ash processing, you know, area. We can deal with all of our crushed coal. It will make our lives a lot better. Put one right in the middle here. Place one right here. Down in this corner. I do want to connect that up, but that's not powered. Okay. Oh, I cut this base off of power? When did I do that? Or how did I do that? Oh, I don't even know when that happened. Maybe it's been like that for 3 episodes. I have no idea. Okay, we want this to be connected to as many as we can. Get that guy connected up, and that looks pretty good. That's pretty good coverage. So, oh, we probably want one way up here by all of our power stuff. Sweet. Okay, well, we'll call it an episode there, and then in the next episode, we'll actually start working on our logistics system, which is going to feel really good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.